Cheryl Ann was born and raised in the Caribbean island of St. Vincent. Wife of Hansel and mother of Stefan and Tyrell, they live a life characterized by service and love for the Lord.
Well, I was brought up in the church, so I was always taught everything about God. And when I was of age and I understood everything, I was sitting in my seat and they had like a crusade. And the Holy Spirit led me. I got up and I went to the altar. I had no idea how I got there, but I know it wasn't just me.
She met her husband Hansel while attending church.
So I have a cousin who took me to another church, and that was a Pentecostal church. And I met my husband there at the youth fellowship.
From early on, it is obvious that God was at work in her life, orchestrating and guiding her every step. All seemed well until things took an unexpected turn where a medical emergency would shake her faith. Can you talk to me about what happened on Sunday morning?
Yes, definitely. We were all on the stage, and Lynn, she started to sing the song. And I remember closing my eyes, and I was just praying to God, and I was ready for worship. And the song started to sing, and then I started to sing, and I raised my hand like this.
While singing on stage during worship, she felt a strange sensation in her head.
I felt something lifted up in my head, and it stretched like a rubber band, and then it just popped. And at that time, I remember I couldn't hear anything after that, and I wasn't sure what happened to me.
Not wanting to disturb the worship, she came down from the stage and went to the lobby and was met by Pastor Doris.
Pastor David, he came out as well. And then I saw him look down and he said, "James, you wasn't here for 2 years. How come you're here today?" And James said, "I don't know, but I'm here." And Pastor David said, "Well, she needs you. Come, she needs you."
Although the situation seemed to be worsening every second, God had another plan. Through a twist of fate, or more likely a divine intervention, Cheryl would receive a miraculous helping hand.
I remember that day. I was on my way home from the store and not planning to come to church. Suddenly, I had the idea, you got to go to church. So I said, "Okay, Lord, I'll go to church." There was some fuss, but I didn't know what was happening. I brought my younger one to the bathroom, and I saw a group of people over Cheryl. So I medically said, "Well, what's going on? What's going on?" So I went over and I started to speak with Cheryl. It's amazing how God can just give you an idea, and you just go with it. And it's amazing how things just play out.
After being examined by James, an ambulance was called and brought her to the hospital. Turns out she experienced a brain aneurysm. She immediately underwent emergency surgery.
When I spoke to my husband, he told me that the doctor had already prepared him, that I will not be the same person. There's a possibility I will not be the same person. I might be a vegetable if I survive this.
She had to learn how to walk again through hard work. After a month, she was released from hospital.
To see the miracle that he performed on me, I am just so grateful. And I just want people to know that God still works miracles. He still works miracles. It's not just in the old days, but he still do it. He does it. He did it for me, and he can do it for anybody else.
That means you have no effect of anything that happened?
None whatsoever.
Well, by God's grace, today Cheryl has no lingering effect. She is in perfect health. But the twist did not end there. Being self-employed with no more income from her part, the family had to rely on God's intervention. But now God has paid your debts.
He paid everything. He paid everything.
From the get-go, God had always been orchestrating Cheryl's life, placing the right people at the right place at the right time. The Lord had everything perfectly timed. God had everything in control.
You see somebody who's going through a hard time, what would you say to that person?
I would say to them, just trust God. He can do it. He did it for me, and He can do it for you. Just trust Him. He's going to come through and never give up. Never.
As she lives to declare the wonderful works of the Lord, she continues to persevere as a living testimony of God's faithfulness.